I was thinking of you people in this room and your discussions in the last 4 days when I was watching the television about the Greek police having to face the Greek masses who express their anger and frustration at the failure of their political leaders who have got the country into a mess. Last Sunday, I know some of you have been here, there was a football match in the River Plate Stadium. The football players of River Plate team failed. They failed to win, and the angry fans went on a rampage, breaking everything and fighting the police. So, the police community around the world has to face the brunt of the people and the masses for the acts of omission and commissions of the political leaders and the football players, besides the acts of criminals. So I would like to salute the police community around the world and in this room for the sacrifice you make, for your courage in facing, taking this pressure and keeping the society safer. I would like to congratulate Dr. Das for bringing you, all of you together, police, research scholars and sociologists, to look at new ideas and strategies to make the place, make the world, make the society better and safer. I thank you. I salute you. But standing in front of you, I remember an advice given to me long back. I was told, never go behind a horse or in front of a policeman asking for trouble. And I was also given another advice. If ever caught by the police, try humor. My friend was telling me this story. He was driving at 150 kilometers per hour at 3 o'clock in the morning and he was caught. The police officer asked him, "Friend, why are you going so fast, drunk at this time?" So my friend said, "Officer, I am sorry. I am late for a lecture meeting and I need to rush." So the police officer was surprised and said, "What? At this time, 3 o'clock, lecture you're going to attend? Can you explain what is the lecture? Who is giving the lecture? Who are the audience?" So my friend said, "This is a lecture on abstention from alcohol and behaving responsibly. The lecturer is my wife and the venue is my home and I am the audience." And the police officer let him go. I understand that this is the first time you are having this symposium in South America. I have lived here for 11 years in Brazil, Venezuela, here. Now, South America is a unique region of interesting people and rich resources needed by the rest of the world. I say interesting people because of the philosophy of life here. This is captured in a pop song by an Argentine pop singer called Axel Fernando. He sings like this: "Celebra la vida, segundo a segundo, nada se guarda, todo se brinda." Celebrate life from second to second. Don't hold anything. Give out everything. Enjoy life. And that is the philosophy and culture of this region. And my friends say in South America, the problem is the women do not admit their age and the men do not act their age. So when I was telling my friends that I am on the verge of retirement next year, they gave me an advice. Don't stop having fun when you are old. You become old only when you stop having fun. Now, this region of South America is very rich in resources in agriculture, minerals and energy. In this world which is preoccupied with food security, energy security, which causes riots in other parts of the world. Now, this region is richly endowed with very large fertile land area, abundant water. On top of it, the South Americans, particularly the Mercosur region, Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, they have developed best practices, advanced technologies and innovation. They produce agricultural products more efficiently, and they have the potential to feed at least 500 million people outside this region. They are very advanced, particularly the Argentines and to some extent Brazilians, in certain agricultural practices and innovations. For example, there is something called direct seeding, no-till farming. This region is the leader. They have developed a new business model, which I call as APO, Agricultural Process Outsourcing. You all heard of BPO and KPO, Business Process Outsourcing and Knowledge Process Outsourcing. Like that, in Argentina, they have developed this new business model called Agricultural Process Outsourcing. There is a company called Luz Grobo. They cultivate 270,000 hectares of land in Argentina, Brazil, Paraguay, Uruguay and Bolivia. They do not own a single hectare of land. Everything is leased. They don't own a single tractor, single harvester. Everything is outsourced. They don't have any agronomists as employees. It's outsourced. So this is a fantastic business model where they bring people in the chain and add value to everyone, increasing the productivity and adding value to everyone. Now, another company has taken this business model to a higher level. A company called El Tejar. They cultivate 900,000 hectares of land in all these 5 countries, plus now they are going to Colombia and Ukraine and other places. There is no such company in the United States or anywhere else in the world which cultivate 900,000 hectares of land. This is important to avoid food riots in Africa or in Asia and the prices increase. And this region is also blessed with mineral resources and petroleum, like for example now Brazil is emerging as a big player in as supplier of petroleum. This South America and this Latin America as a whole have undergone a paradigm shift. They have undergone a fundamental transformation in the last 2 decades, politically, economically and socially. Politically, well, this region was full of tin-pot dictators till the 80s. But now democracy has been established firmly and irreversibly across the region. the economies of this region were going up and down, boom and bust. They had three fundamental curses: inflation, external debt, and exchange rate risk. They used to have what's called hyperinflation. Even as late as 1989, there was 3,000% inflation. So at that time there was a joke that one can never say exactly the inflation of Latin America or the population of India, because by the time you finish the sentence, both would have gone up. And the Argentines used to go to the bars in those days. They would order 3 beers, because by the time they finish one beer and order the next one, the price would have gone up. But this is a thing of the past. In the last 10 years, Latin America has tamed inflation and has kept it at a single digit. External debt, like what Greece is facing today, Argentina went through it in a worse way in 2001 and 2. They had the world's largest debt default. No more. Today, there are no IMF cases in this region. Argentina and Brazil, they paid their debt to IMF ahead of schedule. Everyone is living within their means, responsibly and carefully. And thirdly, we used to have exchange rates fluctuating 1,000%, 10,000%, changing currencies. Life was uncertain. No longer. Now the currencies, exchange rates, they have become stable and predictable. Last year, the GDP growth rate of the region was 6%. And in future, it is going to be more stable and it is going to be growing. We heard of the great financial crisis in Wall Street and London, but not in Latin America. No bank collapsed here. No financial institutions went bust here. So this is a proof of what I call as the new Latin America, which has not only become internally strong, but has also become resilient and against external shocks and pressures. That is why I tell businessmen from India who come for investment, don't read the history books of Latin America. Forget the past. You look at the future. I tell them this poem is a Mexican ballad. It says, "No me preguntes más. Déjanos imaginar que no existe el pasado. Que nacimos al mismo instante que conocimos." In English, it's like this. Don't ask me again. Let us imagine that the past did not exist. Let us imagine that we were born at the time when we got to know each other. So this is the new Latin America, and this is going to be the future. But this new Latin America faces new challenges, new problems which involve you. Urban crime and violence and drug trafficking. I have lived and survived in Sao Paulo. Caracas has gone to the dogs. Even in Buenos Aires, life has become very risky. Across the cities of Latin America, violence and crime has gone up. And drug trafficking is destroying Mexico. It had destroyed Colombia, but it is coming out of that. Central America, Guatemala, Honduras, El Salvador are suffering. And even in the slums, favelas of Rio and here in the barrios in Argentina, drug trafficking is a big problem. Now, this problem cannot be solved by you alone, by the police community. It's a larger issue. It has political and social aspects to that. It has to do with poverty, unemployment, inequality, developmental issues. Fortunately, the countries of the region are attacking these basic problems, and they are bringing more and more people from poverty into the middle class. But there is also an external aspect, particularly to the drug problem. Now the focus is on stopping the production and stopping the trafficking. But there is something wrong in this age of free market, when supply and demand is what decides the market. There is so much of drug production and traffic because it is demand driven. It is consumer driven. It is because some people in the consuming societies are willing to pay $1 million for a kilo of cocaine. Now, all these people are risking their lives to produce and distribute. The problem needs to be attacked over there as much as you try to stop the production here. Now, let's look at a parallel issue. Guns kill more people and more instantly than the drugs. I don't hear many people talking about stopping the production of guns. Cigarettes kill people slowly. No one talks about stopping the production. Well, these are all larger issues for the political leaders to discuss. But besides this, there is another sociological issue for crime and violence, and that is something to do with the mind, with the heart. You have to take preventive action here in the individual mind and individual heart. You have to develop a culture of non-violence and compassion in the minds and hearts of the people. This is where India has a small message, a small contribution to this new Latin America which is facing these problems. I'll give you two examples. When I was in Sao Paulo, I used to work with an NGO called Palace Athena. Palace Athena takes the message of non-violence of Mahatma Gandhi to the street children, to the prisoners. They work with these schools, teachers and policemen. When I was there, we did an interesting project, and the initiative for the project came from the chief of police of the military police of Sao Paulo state. They have 85,000 military police in Sao Paulo. So they came to us through this NGO that they want to inculcate this new culture of non-violence and Mahatma Gandhi's message to their own policemen. So we did a project in collaboration with this NGO, Palace Athena. We sent a 10-page write-up of Mahatma Gandhi's sayings and practice of non-violence to every one of these 85,000 military police of the state of Sao Paulo. We did workshops, we did seminars, we did essay competitions, poetry competitions, and that was a fascinating project. Next week I am going to Medellin in Colombia, and there is an Indian there who is running a Mahatma Gandhi Foundation, preaching non-violence, preaching compassion in the heart of where the violence and the crime and drug trafficking is taking place. The other way in which India is contributing a little to Latin America is through yoga, meditation, art of living, Ravi Shankar. There are thousands and thousands of followers across Latin America, from Mexico to Chile, who practice yoga, meditation, and Indian spiritualism. I guarantee you, none of these people would be drug traffickers. None of these people would be attacking others, indulging in crime and violence. But of course, it's a very, very small percentage. But it is working. We have an interesting new pop music group in Buenos Aires. It is called Rave, Yoga Rave. It's a regular pop music group, but the songs are about non-violence, about compassion, Indian mantras. But they use the guitar, they sing and dance in front of 10,000 people. No drugs, no alcohol, no cigarettes. It has become so successful, so popular, that they have taken this across to other Latin American countries, and they are going to Berlin. They are going to perform in front of an audience of 10,000 people, and they are going to United States. So this is the new message, a little contribution from India to this problem which your colleagues are facing in Latin America. So, in conclusion, I would like to tell you what I always tell the Indian visitors to Latin America. I tell them, after your visit, enjoying Malbec and the steak and tango, the visitors to South America always go back happier and younger. Thank you.